That's such a good
out of my
project.
way to
Yeah.
see the ground.
Yeah, they said they had 75 volunteers.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
Right? So that's.
I can't get 75 people to do anything.
And I think that umbrellas, and though I haven't gone to, I think they're all color coordinated. In other words, last year had reds, greens, blues, all colors, and I think it's basically
More like blues and greens, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
And-
blue, green, orange.
Yeah, I thought this
not-
year, but last
not
year
even
they
like
had
brand colors,
reds and everything in there.
Because they paid for it.
That's another one that I'm hoping the storms don't.
Right. Yeah, but they're gonna maintain the thing they're planning is they'll be maintained better than they were last
Yeah.
year.
It
And I
looks
love
really
the little
cool.
benches.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have Cody online with the
Morning,
weird
Cody.
thing where you can look at the screen to see him, but if you want to make eye contact, you have to put the owl in the middle of the room. So Shane is new today. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I'd love to go around the room and we'll do this again next meeting because Sundance is also a new member and she's not able to come today. But I'd love to go around the table and just introduce ourselves. Maybe say a little bit, like say a couple of sentences about what you do in real life and why you joined or what your interest is in the Cultural Commission. And what your favorite thing about Maine summer is, because we are real close. So I will start. My name is Nina. I'm the current chair. And I am I guess an artist sometimes, and then a creative project manager in my real life. I moved back to Bangor about 3 years ago to raise a family. And I joined the Cultural Commission to meet more people and to, I guess, help the city with some of the skills I've gained in the last 20 years of working. And my favorite thing about Maine summer is going on drives and finding food I haven't eaten before. Let's go this one.
Okay, hi, I'm Holly. In my real life, I'm an English professor at UMaine Orono. I'm a writer. I write poetry and fiction. I joined, I should also say I'm the vice chair of the commission, and I'm the chair of the grant subcommittee. So we have 3 subcommittees, and I chair the grant subcommittee. I joined the commission to also meet people, but also to feel more connected to my community, which this has definitely made me feel, and to give back. And my favorite thing about Maine summer is paddleboarding and swimming in the Stillwater River. Although last time I went, I saw 3 dead fish. So I don't know if I'm gonna swim. I don't know if I'm gonna swim as much as paddleboard, but yeah.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Shane. I'm new. I have a cold and I didn't want to spread my germs, so apologies if anybody gets sick, even with masks. I work at Husson University as the Assistant Director of Career Services. And I also work at Eastern Maine Community College as an adjunct instructor, so love that. I got involved with the Cultural Commission because my mom passed away about a month and a half ago, and she was an avid photographer. And I did this to honor her. And plus I love public service. I used to live in Brewer and I was on the school committee and I chaired their school committee for 2 years. So love public service. And my favorite thing about Maine summers, beach days at any and every beach.
Good answers. My name is Cal Elmore, and I'm a retired art teacher. Still actively teaching informally. I joined this commission to continue to advocate for the arts, which I've done in different formats over the years. My favorite thing about summer, being retired, every day is summer. But yeah, getting out on the water, yeah, it'd be great.
I'm Sam Scapani. I used to be a journalist and now I do nonprofit communications. I used to write for the BDN. I joined the commission because I also have a public service bone in my body, hence the nonprofit communications, I guess. And let's see. Oh, what I love about Midsummer, also paddleboarding, but I go for lakes. The Stillwater's a little grody.
Clearly, yeah.
So paddleboarding on Phillips or Branch Lake or any of those. Yeah, that's the best.
Hi, I'm Barbara McDade. I was the director of the Bangor Public Library. I'm now retired. This is my second term on the commission. And I joined, we had a small group of arts people that met, when I was director of the library. It's now, I always forget what it's called, the Mind Body Connection. I can think of it in creative something that still meet. But I believe that arts are a major economic force in the city and we really need to support them. Main summers, what else can you say? What is so rare as a day in June? I mean, what has been more perfect than the spring?
Okay, my name's Kelly Chanel. I just recently joined the committee. I'm a single parent. My son's at Bangor High. He's getting ready to be a senior. And as you know, being a single parent and a caretaker whole life, I joined the committee because I wanted to use, my college degree. I'm a musician and I have a music degree and I want to do something for Kelly. And it's just, I don't know, I'm into the positive things we're doing here. So it feels really good. Main summer, it's caught between going to the lake at my dad's and Old Orchard Beach with my son. We go every year. So yeah, those are the two.
Sorry, Anne just wanted to let you know, sorry, I can't talk this morning. She's getting a ride in and she will be in soon.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
I'm Laverne Stockwell. And I will tell you now, I'm going to do it backwards. I have finished 25 years of working for Maine Tourism Association. I am in my 26, I should put it that way. And so what do I enjoy about Maine and tourism? You couldn't believe the number, maybe you can, maybe you can't, how much fun it is to help tourists discover Maine. All from Madawaska, Allagash, Fort Kent, clear to the other end, from the most eastern point, which is Lubec, through to the most western point, which is actually on Route 26 in Grafton Notch State Park. Technically, that is the most western part of the state. I will tell you also that I have helped people there were 7 from all the continents except one. That is Antarctica because there are no residents and those penguins do not travel. Now, I have been, now I'm going back to present time, if you want to put it that way, but yet not. I have been involved in the city of Bangor's boards, commissions, you name them, for over 30 years. I have done just about everything. I don't know how many years I've been on culture, but I've always believed in the culture life. And what do I think I should do this summer? Investigate more museums. Because we have some extremely unique ones in this state. And if you don't believe me, I'll bring you a book.
So I'm Sarah McQuillan. I'm the assistant for the Community and Economic Development Department here at the city. And we are the department that provides staff support for this commission. In terms of my favorite thing about Maine summer, it's really hard to pick just one thing, but probably my favorite thing is going fishing up at our camp with my wife.
Where is it?
Shimo Pond in Bradley, which is really nice for us because it's only 15 minutes from our house.
I only very recently learned that it's not Chemo Pond.
Yes, it is Shimo.
And Cody?
Oh, cool. I didn't know when it was my turn. I can't tell where I am in the line. My name's Cody Clark. This is my second year here. My day job, I work for a cybersecurity company called Check on the hat. Wanted to join the commission just to help improve the community. And even in my couple years back here in Bangor, I can see that this group has done some awesome things. Summertime, I try to stay away from the Stillwater as well. My kids, my family and I, we have a camp up on Whetstone Pond, which is like an hour from here, up in like the Moosehead Lake area. So that's where we'll be every weekend.
All right, thanks, everyone. Perfect. So, the next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions about the May meeting minutes?
I move they be accepted as presented.
I second that. Oh.
Right, everybody in favor?
Yep.
All right, done. My report. So a few things happened this past month. I did want to start with the grants that we had suggested and approved on our end. Did go through city council. They're all approved. They were all awarded as we had recommended. And they've all been notified. As you probably maybe have seen, we just talked about the wall mural that is a mural of the forest floor on Hammond Street. I never know which part exactly where it switches from Hammond Estate, but that's the hill. Hammond Street, it's if you're standing in front of the post office or Bangor Wine and Cheese, you look up the hill, it's right there. They started this week. It looks really great. And we're excited, so they got money for that. I heard an update from the artist who will do the installation at the Bangor Y, which is right across the street from that. That's gonna happen sometime this summer, probably later summer, so hopefully we will hear from her so that we can go to that opening. I'd like to go. The ground mural was not part of this budget grant cycle, but we just talked about that too. That just finished. Painting was really fun. I went on Sunday. I'm really excited also that they put up the bollards so that there's less traffic over it. Hopefully that'll help it last longer. There will be an opening with an artist talk on June 14th, which is next week, Friday, right? Yes. I think it's 6 to 7. I'm hoping to go. If anybody else would love to come, happy to have you. We can all sit together or not. It'll be at the Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness, which is right that bottom corner building. They've been doing more artist talks and different events in that space, which is good too. The other ones, we gave money to the ballet. And then we also gave money to Maine Academy of Music for their summer camps for Bangor students. So all those things are very exciting. And then my other update is I went to the budget meeting with some moral support. Thank you. And it was much quicker than I had expected. They did ask a couple of questions. They had no questions at all about our just regular budget and our October. I think the only question was, why is the October budget separate from the main budget? So we asked for 20,000, which is our usual for the main budget, which is really mostly for grants, and then 2,500 for October, which is less than what we've asked for in previous years. And we will have an October meeting sometime soon and start talking about what to do with that money and how to make that event an actual event, or what else to do in October this year. And the other piece of it was the events calendar, which is an ongoing project that we've talked a lot about. They did have a few questions. Overall, and it wasn't a full council meeting, but they all thought that it's a great project, it's a great idea, they'd really like to support it. They were a little uncertain about where the money would come from. And so their big question was, is there a way to and they did appreciate that we asked for less this year than last year, which is great. And we asked for half of what we asked for last year this year. So, hopefully that helps that pass. Their question was around like, is there anything that could be slightly less? And so the budget we asked for the full recap is 33,500. 25 of that would have to go to the BDN for them to give us the discount so that we can actually print a weekly calendar. And there's a few other pieces that we've added in there to make 25,000. And then we'd like to give 2,500 to Justin, who runs Bangor Sevens, because he's gonna provide information for the calendar on a weekly basis. And then the other 6,000 are for a postcard to all Bangor residents, letting them know that this is happening. Or potentially doing that in the spring and having a economic development budget for an initial postcard as the launch postcard. So the city question was around, is there, like, the only piece really that could be where we could save money is the postcard. But we really want to reach all Bangor residents. We really want to make sure people know that this is happening. So an idea they had that we can discuss is, because the postcard, kind of the big expense of the postcard is actually the postage. They were wondering if we could maybe make a smaller card that fits into one of the bills that every household in Bangor gets from the city, so that we would save the postage. And so we can discuss that. It would have to fit into a regular legal envelope, so it's smaller than what we were talking about. We were talking about 4 by 6. And none of this is accurate. But so it would be a little bit smaller, and I got one of I think my water bill the same day or the day after I talked to them. And I do think, because there's not a lot of extra in those bills and everybody does open them, I hope. We can talk about which bill makes sense. I know I think the water bill is the same every time I get it, so I don't really pay attention to that as much as maybe the tax assessment or something else. So what are people's thoughts?
Are people not going paperless? Is that not an option?
Oh,
'Cause I feel like I get my water bill
Yeah,
emailed, like
I
I
do too.
go paperless, so I was like, and I don't get a tax
Oh,
bill.
That's what I was gonna say, is residents that
Okay.
rent, I don't get a water bill because my landlord pays the water.
oh, that's right.
So that would be 3 buildings, my complex, 32 units, none of us
Right.
would get it.
That's a very good point.
Wouldn't be a water bill anyway, it would be a sewer bill, right?
Sure.
Sewer
Water
district.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The water bill and the sewer bill are two different ones.
Right.
Yeah,
And when it comes to the tax bill, she's just hit that.
right.
yeah,
That's
the
a very
same
good
thing,
point.
I would have,
Because
Right,
I'm
all
not
renters wouldn't
of
get it.
that.
there's
So
a
that's
lot of,
Mark.
yeah, renters that wouldn't pay property
Yeah.
taxes.
I have no problem with going by the 3 by 5 card in the sense it goes in. The
Right,
postage, could it be not done as a nonprofit?
it would be. It's still,
It's
as
still
a 4 by 6 card sent from the city as a nonprofit to all Bangor households is still $2,500 just for
Okay.
postage. And that doesn't really, it's as long as it's less than 4 by 6, so even if we go smaller, that postage piece doesn't change. That's kind of the postcard postage for nonprofit, so there just is no wiggle room on that unless we can put it in something else.
Could we each?
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
does the school send out anything to every household?
I don't get anything from
Yeah,
the
I
school.
don't know.
Okay.
The only thing I've ever gotten from the school per se is the thing that comes out on the adult ed program.
Right.
Oh, right.
I hear,
Yeah,
a multi-page.
right, but that's almost like a newspaper,
Right, and that's a
and
whole
so
different
it
ballgame.
doesn't.
I mean.
I don't know that you can put an insert in that wouldn't fall out. And I don't always look at that either. I'm not sure every resident would. So we will get back to council, with these thoughts.
I'm gonna put a
Cause it
crazy
was just an
idea out
idea.
there.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like we have to do it this way. It just was an idea that they had.
Could we hand deliver some of them
That's what I was gonna
Oh.
suggest, like
I
if
just
we
have to
each
put it
pick a
out there,
neighborhood,
yeah, like, you know, I live in Little City,
Mhm.
it's a nice walk, like, I
Yeah,
don't know if that's an option, I don't know if that's legal, I don't know.
I don't know about the legality of it. I mean, I would assume anyone can stick anything in anybody's mailbox, right? There's no actual
Can't
law.
put
for
it in
that.
the mailbox, that's for sure.
That's
Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Put it in your door, but
You
you can't
can
put
do
it
one of
in
those
the
door. you
Right,
can
like,
do some-
Oh,
Like,
the
put a apartment buildings would be
knob
hard, right?
Yeah.
You probably couldn't get
because you
in.
probably can't get in.
Hmm.
You can do technically, because
Ah,
of something that I was involved with one time. I wasn't involved on doing it, but it was suggested. I actually served on a postal committee. And technically, legally, anything that goes in the mailbox is supposed to be United States or foreign mail legally.
Oh, right.
I'm darned if I want to get dropping it in. The question would be, when you're talking about that, the doorknob hangers.
Right.
Yeah, but apartment buildings, I think, would be tricky, right?
And then doorknob hangers is a whole other like budgetary, like how much is it?
They
gonna
are.
cost to do?
That costs more to print because it's a special shape.
Right, I understand that.
So we'd have to kind of figure that out. It's definitely worth considering. I mean, we're also talking about like close to 20,000
I know,
households. Maybe 14. It's like, it's a lot of mailboxes or houses or doorknobs to split even among all of us.
Just to
So-
say, is there a youth group that might be interested in taking on
Right.
the project?
I don't know. I like all of these ideas.
No, I have a question. They're gonna be doing the new assessment of all the rental properties and things in Bangor, so that would give an accurate count of how many.
Yep.
There will be in the city after that's done. I don't know when exactly it's done, but it's happening.
I thought it said
Yeah.
it's a 2-year project.
Okay, so then that would be too far out. Never mind. Never mind.
The assessing department, they tell you now how many single families probably there are in the
Right.
city.
Yeah.
In that sense of the game, because when you get into apartment complexes, you get into different ownership all the way
Right.
around. And you got so many people that have PO boxes,
Mhm.
and you're certainly not going into the post office and shove PO boxes.
Right, yeah. So I still think the official mailed postcard is the easiest way to ensure that we're reaching all households.
What did Anne
But-
say she was gonna give us for like the preliminary?
5,500, which is what it costs to do a postcard to all the,
Okay, could we cut that and use that to supplement?
oh,
Like
yeah,
only do one postcard, so
Sure.
we're still getting it out there.
Yeah.
Taking the 5,500. That covers postage
Right.
just a little bit.
yeah. If the city is willing to do that and that, yeah, I mean, that.
Follow up with Anna.
Yeah, and that means we only do one postcard as an announcement, and then we have to think about how we do what's the other piece, which might be a spring survey of some sort, but we can all talk more about that and come up with some other ideas of how to better survey residents to see if they've seen the card or the calendar or anything else. Yeah, I think that could work.
Is the calendar supposed to be included within the BDN?
Yes, it's gonna be printed like an ad
Right.
in the local section. So, right, I mean, with the printed calendar, we're not reaching all households. And we do know that, but we wanted to, this is a way to reach more people with the printed calendar. And especially more older residents who maybe live in assisted living homes where they do have access to a paper, even when they don't have their own subscription to the paper. And the card, the postcard will also have the link to the digital calendar,
Which is free.
right? And
The
so
QR code, right there.
we'll probably do a QR code and a printed link
Mhm.
to just make it as easy as possible for all the different ways to get to the calendar. All right, I can follow up Or we can touch base and follow up with council on these ideas and why we think maybe inserting in a bill is not the best option.
And then when does the
Um,
final budget, because we need to check back, right?
Yes.
To make sure
So-
we get a verbal yes on actually.
Exactly, right, so they gave the verbal yes, and as we know from last year, that doesn't necessarily mean it's totally in the budget. Do you know when? I think it's the end of June, or at least that's when it was last year, and not to put you on the spot right as you're walking in the room.
I know, that's why I
Um,
wanted to come in. Currently, they've been making a lot of, different cuts, in different departments, so this particular, not the base budget, but the postcard, currently looks like that might be cut.
Okay.
But not the base and the October, just
But the whole
Oh, the
calendar,
whole
postcard,
calendar
yeah.
project.
because
Okay.
the postcard,
I mean, yeah,
the calendar project.
The
yeah,
33,500.
yeah.
will
So
be
they're
cut
made-
They
completely.
have a budget workshop this coming Monday.
Okay.
I know they're gonna be talking about, downtown. And the agenda hasn't come up yet to see what else is on that agenda for their budget workshop, but they are doing a budget workshop before the regular council meeting.
Okay. Would it be helpful for me to go? to
Yeah, let me
another
just
public
double-
budget Meeting, if they have more questions about this?
Yeah, let me double check the, agenda.
Okay.
Cause they're doing the pack array down, so I don't know
Right.
what's on their agenda for Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I could come back. I'm happy to discuss it again with them, and we just talked about. You were at the budget meeting, but their
Yeah.
question about whether we can put a postcard in a city mailer.
Right.
Like a water bill, and the very helpful. Notes from the commission is that not every. The renters don't get a water or sewer bill. And so not everybody who is a resident of Bangor necessarily gets the actual
It's true, that's
mailing
like,
from a city, because they might also people who get digital bills.
yeah, it's an
So-
issue that we have with public outreach, cause we use the assessors list too. And yeah, you don't catch any of the tenants that way.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we want to make sure we reach as many people as possible.
okay,
So we could also discuss taking the postcard out of their budget, either partially or completely, because we had discussed part of your budget this year being the initial postcard to announce it.
Yeah.
5,500, so,
okay,
we could look at that.
right,
We could probably do the calendar if we can get 27,500. That's kind of our minimum.
okay,
Cut the whole thing then.
Right, then we're not doing it. But if I can answer more questions and discuss lowering the budget with them, then we can certainly do that.
okay.
Cool. I think that's all the chair updates I have. Any questions, any other thoughts? Okay, financial report. Any questions on this? It still looks the same as it did last month because the grants haven't been paid out yet. But that will happen, and then there's not gonna be very much left until July 1st. Any other thoughts, questions? Okay, great. Committee reports. Let's go down the list as they are listed here. Grant committee.
Yeah, so not much because we've already assessed the spring grants and they've been notified and it hasn't come out, so that's all fine. One thing I did want to bring to the committee, and I think I mentioned this at our last meeting, I think it came up, but it was also voiced as a concern to me by one of our applicants in this grant cycle, suggested that we should evenly split the $20,000 between fall and spring. So we only in the fall say we have 10,000 to work with, because they felt that, spring, we only had 7,100, so they were being unfairly penalized for applying in the spring rather than the fall, so that if you apply in the fall, there's a higher chance you'll get more money because we have our full budget, and we're like, oh, we'll just fund everything. And then when it comes to spring, we're like, oh, we can't fund the things we want to. So I just wanted to bring that up and see if maybe we'd be on board with that, or if there were any, I don't know, hesitations about doing it that way.
I would just waffle a little and say, unless something comes up in the fall that we want to spend more money on. But yeah, generally,
Yeah, so
Make
maybe
it-
it doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule, but it's just maybe something we can keep in mind. Cause I don't think we have, or I haven't in the fall. It's just kind of like, oh, we have all the money, we can fund the projects in full.
I think, because this is not my second around, it's more than that around on this commission. I think usually we have tried to do it at very close to 50-50 because of that fairness. And I know last fall we did more because we felt that they were. And then unfortunately, we had some very strong ones for spring.
I think also, I mean, I like the idea. I think we should try to split it more evenly. And I'm gonna also try to keep more track or build a spreadsheet or something of how much people are asking for total. So that next year, and how much we are giving or able to give and how much we can't give, that maybe could be useful, so that next year, when we ask for the budget the following year, if we've have requested more than 20,000 for the past several years, we have a good argument to ask the city for a little bit more. We will see, obviously, that doesn't apply if there's a budget shortfall and all of these things, but it's worth asking, I think. And so it's worth
I
tracking.
actually have several years of these. Of everything I've ever done. Unless I've passed due, I will look through and get you, because we don't meet until August. According to the calendar, and see that you have something that you can print out or do whatever.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
How long, and I don't know if you know this, but like, how long has the grants or the October budget been 20,000?
because
She's gonna go
The
look
commission-
when she gets
Yeah.
home.
Cause I
That's
mean,
a
I
good
think,
question.
you know,
Yeah,
everything's
that's
getting
my
more
note.
expensive, right? Like,
Yeah.
artist materials are getting more expensive, so, I mean, it just would make sense that the grants, I mean, costumes for the ballet are gonna be more expensive than they
Yeah.
were
Yeah, oh my gosh.
20 years ago. If that's been the budget for 20 years, then
It's time. Yeah, right. Yeah, we can all look into whoever has access to those pieces, and then we can put together some evidence for next year's budget request. So that, right, we're giving enough to make these grants actually worth giving.
I can check with finance to see
Yeah, that'd be
how many
great.
years
That'd
back.
be great. Thanks.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Great. Yeah, and right, I only have the grant applications from the last couple of years, but yeah, we can figure that out. Cool. All right, any other grant?
No, that's it.
Okay. Tristan chairs the Cultural Asset Committee. He's not here today. So we'll touch base next month. October committee is me. I would like to wait to make sure the budget is actually approved before we start planning things. I do have some ideas for an October. A smaller event, maybe something that's more networking for artists rather than a performance thing. But the goal, if the budget is approved, we still would like to give the Bangor Arts Award. And so we will have to meet sometime soon. So we'll figure out when the budget is actually approved, and then we'll go from there. So I might send out an October email sometime in the next month. And then the events calendar committee doesn't have a chair. And we just talked about that. We will see if that's still a committee that exists next year or not, or if it's just a budget figuring out for the following year. And just generally about committees, we do request that you join a committee. You are welcome to join multiple committees if you'd like. Some of them meet more regularly. But really, most of them meet more seasonally, kind of a few more times. So we do 2 grant cycles. The grants committee usually meets once we have the applications in to vet them and make sure they all actually are eligible. And then makes recommendations to the full commission. So each grant cycle, the grants committee meets a couple of times. And then October committee meets more between July and October to prep for that and to kind of run the Bangor Arts Award selection. And the cultural asset committee meets a lot less frequently. But also does,
But it may start meeting more.
which would be great.
I just had a little baby thought about October.
Yeah,
Is that in the fall, I believe in the fall, there's gonna be a push for First Fridays. I wonder if we ought to really focus on the October First Friday.
Yeah.
For events.
Yeah, and last year we specifically didn't put our event on the first Friday because we didn't want to pull people away from everything else that's happening on First Friday. But if we make it a later thing or a smaller thing, then it definitely would.
Or just keep it in mind, I guess.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Chimera would be a good venue because it's so small that you can fill it very
Yes.
easily and they're very open to having arts
Yeah.
stuff and
Mhm.
even if it was like, it's an hour where we award the Bangor Arts Award, you can get a drink at the,
That's right.
at the bar,
Yeah.
at the counter, we're not paying for it.
Yeah,
Maybe we have some snacks.
right. And it's more
And
about
then go enjoy First
meeting
Friday. if it's on
each
First
other.
Friday.
Yes, I agree.
Is
I
that
think that's a
the
good idea.
coffee shop? Okay, because the
Yeah.
owner to that's on the downtown Bangor partnership that I'm the liaison.
Eric,
to, so,
me,
um,
or both.
Hear both things, but I can find out and.
Yeah.
We can, yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah, I was also thinking, book space. Book space, is that what it's
Mhm.
called?
Yeah.
The place that is more the event space connected to the Briar Patch might be a good place
Yeah.
for like a networking.
That's a great, yeah.
Because it is also smaller and not as much of a big public performance space, but something networky. I like
Yeah.
Chimera a lot too. At Chimera, right, we wouldn't have to pay for
Bring in
any
alcohol.
refreshments or bring alcohol and people can drink or get coffee or snacks. We don't have to worry about it at book space. We'd have to
Yeah.
bring,
At book space, and we probably have to get a liquor license if we were gonna serve,
right. That would be more complicated.
but it's a good space.
Cool. I will, once we have the budget approval officially, I'll send out an email for October to meet. And Shane, you don't have to pick a committee right away, but eventually we will. So we'll include you in all those emails. All right. Next, I think, Anne, you're up. Public restroom art project.
Yeah, as you may know, the city's gonna be putting up some public restrooms and and I'll send the spec around so we can talk about it more if you are interested in helping out with this. I can send you the spec for it so you can see the, how much space there is. But we'd like to have some art on it. There's an opportunity to to have either an artist, come or however, you think. And we'd like to run it through this commission and have you manage that, if you're interested.
Yeah, and we had talked about this very early on before the whole restroom project was approved. And everybody seemed really excited about it from our art perspective.
Yeah,
It's a more controversial
Yeah.
topic with residents. But what is the timeline? Do you know when they're being installed?
it's probably gonna be sometime this year, so I'll get the specification for it to you. Send it to the full commission, so you can kind of see like what the space on the building structure is like and materials that you can use, that type of thing.
Yeah. And I think, did I hear correctly that 5 of them are being installed on this
5,
initial
yep.
round? Yeah, my neighborhood park is the one that got cut.
Oh,
Thank you, residents. Fairmount.
Yeah.
Not getting back.
Not in my backyard.
I thought Fairmont was pulled off.
Yeah. I was very excited to have as a parent of about to be potty trained toddler, I was very excited to have a toilet in my park with my playground. But we're not getting one, that's fine. Any ideas about how the commission would like to maybe do this? There's budget to pay for art on these toilets, right? Maybe that's a
I
question.
think so, but I'll
Okay.
double check.
And
with
then do we,
How much?
can we as a commission decide if this is gonna be a public call in town for anybody to submit ideas or put in their name to want to make art, and then we have some sort of maybe sketch approval?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to
Process.
have 5 different artists.
I agree, yes.
Ooh,
So you'd have 5 styles and like,
Yes.
you could do a little tour of the bathrooms
Right.
and like, they wouldn't all be the same. I think that'd be
Yep.
cool. Would they have to be Bangor artists if they're being paid by the city?
I mean, I think that's a preference, but I'll double check.
Wouldn't we handle this the way we did the community?
Public call, and
Yeah.
people can submit and select.
Yeah.
And if there's not a budget for it, I mean, it would be good exposure for young artists to get their work out there and be seen in a public way. If there isn't a budget for this, it may still get some interest. You know what I'm,
Yeah, I would at least
Maybe
like to
materials
pay
budget,
materials.
yeah.
I don't think they
Yeah.
have to
Absolutely.
go into like
I'll
Yeah.
double check and.
Yeah.
find
their
out
own
how much is
money
set
to
aside.
get the paint.
And I very much
Mhm.
believe in also paying young artists.
Yeah, even
for
if
their
it's like a
time.
Yeah.
small honorarium,
yeah,
like even if it's
Yeah.
not what you would make an hour as a working.
Right.
artist,
Right,
but
right,
a small honorarium.
Yeah. I agree.
And the materials for
So I'll
sure.
find
Knowing
out how
what
much.
budget is will help us. I think we should put that information in the call.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So that people know what they're
Yeah,
applying
really
for.
transparent.
Yeah. And then we will come up with a timeline. Do we need a subcommittee for this project, or can this run through our regular meeting?
Could it go through cultural assets first? Cause would they be kind of a cultural asset?
Yeah.
And like they could do maybe the call for submissions, like getting the wording, just cause that might be hard to do with a full like 12-person commission. And then when we get submissions, they can maybe vet them first, but then it
Yeah.
could go to the full commission.
I'm doing that.
Okay,
I've been looking at you and I think she's not quite sure.
No, I'm spinning some ideas about, you know, how to put out a call and what it should say, and wondering whether, just because I have a teaching background, if students could be encouraged to
I would
participate or not.
absolutely love to encourage
And but
students.
then there's a worry about follow through, you know, and sometimes you can't always predict ahead of time, you can't.
Mhm.
But having a smaller committee that maybe oversees it would help things go smoother. Not
Maybe
that
we
there's a
can-
problem, but
Also ask students to. I don't, sorry, this thought is forming. Maybe
Can
not.
I say a thought in while
Yes,
you're forming?
absolutely.
Should we maybe partner with Bangor Beautiful?
Right.
And try to loop them in, because they seem to have a really great track record of
Yeah.
getting public art. And working with students,
Right,
because Kat Johnson has pulled
Is
on
a
students to do
teacher.
like the one Lupin
yeah,
mural, like a student designed it, but then like
Yeah.
they helped the student
Yeah.
execute.
I agree.
And I think they would like be on board and excited about this.
So, yeah, my thought was about having students partner with a teacher or
Mm.
someone else in the community, but I don't want to make students have a supervisor for this project really, but I agree about follow through. But Kat knows a lot of the local art students who
Yeah, she's an art teacher.
show up and who
Susan
are
Bryan's on that
excited.
committee
And-
also, and she's a teacher.
And they have a list of 75 people who just showed up to paint a ground mural. Some of those were students, current high school students. So there are definitely responsible high school students who would be excited
Well,
about
plus
projects
you have
like this.
Orno, you know, Orno artists.
Gotta figure that out if that's allowed.
Right,
It's the only thing.
but
okay,
so we have a few questions,
okay,
but
got it.
But we're excited.
we're excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
And we want to do it.
yeah,
Okay,
We
good.
want to be involved.
definitely.
Okay.
Yes. All right. And then the other pieces of the culture, which
Yeah,
we
that,
had put in money for a public sculpture
Not like
to
we-
replace the plaque that was removed a few years ago. This has sort of been on the city's radar that eventually we'd like to do something there. We put in for 10,000 this year. And that did not even make it to the discussion part of the budget meeting. That was removed. So Holly and I had spoken with Lisa Sokovic a few months back about this project. She had some really great ideas. Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness might be interested in taking on this project. I think there's a city permission thing that we're unsure of.
Okay,
Because it wasn't even part of the discussion. There wasn't space for me to ask about it at the council
Right.
meeting. What are your thoughts and updates on that?
yeah, I mean, we were tasked with, as from the staff level, looking at, different grants that are out there
Mhm.
for public art. Cause that's something we really haven't spent staff time on.
Yeah.
Cause we just didn't have it, and, now we have a grant writer on staff,
Great.
in the city, yeah, so. This kind of gives us an opportunity to take advantage of some of the grants that are out there to
Yeah.
do this. So,
I would also like to talk with the Maine Arts Commission again.
yeah,
I connected with them recently about something else, and they had mentioned that they're switching their grant system around a little bit to have more grants for municipalities. And they have had an eye on Bangor lately because they want to support Bangor being a cultural destination more.
it's
So
fantastic.
that might be something to talk to Danielle about again.
Yeah,
I was really excited when she mentioned that.
me too.
So they might be someone who could give some grant money, and I know Lisa also had ideas for other grants. I have a list that I can send you, places we've looked into, some of which had already passed for this year. A lot of
Right.
these grants are due early in the year for the following year, and so I think this would be a good fall project to look and start applying for grants.
Yeah.
If that's the way to go with this project.
Well, I wish I could pull my name off. We had for years a member of that commission on Bangor,
Oh.
but I can't pull my name.
Mhm.
Hmm.
My old friend here.
Did you say the Maine Arts Commission and a city council person? Or
No.
somebody on this committee?
This commission.
All right.
I
So we
think
will
that's the one that we have.
stay tuned on that one. And hope that that will be a
That we
project
would-
for next year.
That we're trying, and they were. He's a gentleman, but darn if I can see him on this, but I can't read them.
I don't know.
My papers. I've already got 4 things for you.
Well, John Roman was on,
Yeah,
oh,
but I think
but not on this, no, he was on this committee at one point, he said.
not
but
when
in-
I have been.
Okay, maybe not. But he was on a lot of the city committees and city
Right.
council as well as the Maine Arts Commission. Folk Festival, it was all about the folk festival, that wasn't it?
Let's bring that back.
That's,
Yeah.
yes, I'm
Ooh,
100%
there's a
behind
project.
that. Yes, we might have to start a subcommittee.
All right. You start thinking about that.
Yes, ma'am.
And pull in anybody who's interested. I think that would be a big, but really fun project.
I feel like the budget would immediately get cut. We'd like, be like, we need
No.
$100,000, and they're like, get out.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Any other thoughts? I do see here next meeting is August 2nd. Usually in the past, we've skipped August, not July, but our first Friday of the month in July falls on July 5th this year, so that's a holiday weekend. We can have subcommittee meetings in the in-between, so I think there's a few things that need to be happening. And I know we can't share official discussion through email But can we get budget updates or
Oh, yeah, I can
hear
send
from
out,
you
right,
when the
just
budget
can't
is
have the back and
approved?
forth afterwards,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can't ask questions about the budget
You
via
come to
email
me, yeah,
of the commission. We can have email discussions. It has to be a public meeting. But, right, you can send us notice when and if things are approved or not.
okay.
So that
And we'll
we
have
know.
an October meeting in July, you think?
I think so.
Cause
I
we're
feel
gonna
like we
hear about
should.
this by the end of the month.
Ideally,
And
hopefully.
then
in the
early
next 2
July,
weeks.
cause we wanna get out the call for
For
artists for
the-
the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Great. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. All right, thanks.